Gap Incorporated, a worldwide clothing retail company whose common stock has plummeted more than 58% as of July 31st, 2020. My team and I analyze these trends and today are going to present to you how they can regain their competitive niche in the global economy. Gap was founded nearly 50 years ago and has domain of some of the most recognizable apparel brands in the world, which include Old Navy, Banana Republic, Athleta, and more. Their mission statement is that they are a company who creates strong emotional connections with their customer through the use of superior product design, store experience, and marketing. And while they have been a staple in the clothing industry for some time now, consumer demands and methods of shopping have shifted, leaving Gap Inc. facing a steady decline in sales, as shown in the figure. These shifts will be further explained in our analysis. You can also expect an overview and breakdown of consumer demands, the effects of endorsements and social media influence, market trends, as well as a 5-year plan to increase sales. And while many changes will be presented for Gap Inc. to make, there are quite a few overlying qualities that they need to incorporate in their business plan in order to obtain success. These include high-quality products, wide product selection, age-specific targeting, along with vigilant care of their logistical aspects. Through the dissection and reassessment of Gap Incorporated, they can regain their position as a top clothing retailer. Now, I'd like to speak about market trends. Trends within the marketplace are the focal point for any analysis of an economic system. These trends govern spending, shareholder activity, quarterly returns, and more. Disregarding these trends can prove detrimental for any competitive agent, which is why responsiveness is key for success. Without being responsive, arriving at a price point that will maximize both efficiency and profit is very unlikely. All companies desperately attempt to find insight into what can be done to optimize their returns, including Gap. Their attempts include managing their own logistics, as stated before, manufacturing some of their own products, and even marketing and selling articles of clothing that are received from various suppliers. Gap Incorporated, like many other companies, tries to follow and predict the trends in the market. However, these trends very much rely on consumer demands, which will be covered in the next section by the consumer analyst, Mr. Jacob Valdez.
Thank you, Evan, and thank you for taking the time to consider how consumer analysis benefits your company. It's very important because unlike market trends, which can be predicted on a primary, secondary, or secular basis, consumer analysis takes rapid twists and unpredictable turns in its trends. For example, the boomers generation, they gave you and I the clothing that we wear in our leisure time. That's right, blue jeans. That wasn't really the result of a market trend. We were willing to pay a high price. Some of us were willing to pay a low price, but the consumer properties of us as consumers, our psychographics and our demographics impacted our clothing choices. Another good example of this and how demographics affect a consumer's choice of purchasing, a study by Boy et al. In 2008 found that Bangladeshi girls who held on to their traditional clothing had positive outcomes compared to those who integrated their clothing styles with the environment around them. The effect is that demographic factors and psychographic factors play a strong role and predate purchasing habits. As a company, you want to be able to predict and forecast these changes. If you expect that a population will age to a certain amount at a point in the future, you can begin making warehouse accommodations to optimize your selling at that future point in time. Now, how do you do this? It's very difficult when people of diverse psychographic groups are scattered across the nation and across the world. But one solution that many firms are utilizing is digital media advertising. Over here we have a good graphic showing that, and this is Amazon.com, where it has the products that are inspired by your browsing history. And literally, not just on Amazon.com, but it is inspired by your internet browsing history. companies known as data brokers, they are sold information about users from various websites. Amazon.com sells some of their information to data brokers. Then these data brokers aggregate the digital fingerprints and digital footprints of users and put it into a database where then if a company wants to look up a user by any particular fingerprint or footprint, the associated trace and trail of user activity can be retrieved and allow very targeted, intelligent advertising and marketing to be performed. The advantage of online shopping goes beyond simply advertising, however. Online retail allows companies to maintain their retail during the coronavirus pandemic and other lockdowns. Websites are made available 24/7. They require minimal upkeep and maintenance, and that's a dramatic comparison with 100,000 or million or more a year for large storefronts. Beyond consumer analysis and online marketing, we also encourage you to pay attention to how celebrity endorsement can affect Gap Inc., as Faisal will discuss.
Thank you, Jacob. We feel it's important for Gap Inc. to take into consideration the influence that celebrities and other figures have over social media markets and how that can benefit the company in boosting sales. In Thorstein Veldman's book, he discusses how we as a society purchase goods to show off our wealth and status. Social classes try to emulate higher social classes through their purchasing decisions. Therefore, fashion is heavily affected by the upper classes of society. And celebrities make up a large portion of that upper class, so it is them that dictate which fashion trends are in style and which to follow. These celebrities range from singers and rappers to actors and models. They are the driving force behind the fashion industry and are key to successfully marketing Gap Inc.'s brands in order to thrive as a company. When it comes to any job, it's important to pick the right person for it, someone who's most suited for it. The same goes for which celebrity or important figure that Gap Inc. should choose to sponsor. Celebrities tend to endorse brands that they like to identify with, and brands that have a relation with the work that they do in some way. So it makes sense for Travis Scott and Nike to have a partnership. One of Nike's most iconic shoe lines is the Air Jordan 1, which is a staple sneaker within the streetwear fashion community. And Travis Scott, a popular rapper among today's youth, has an interest in streetwear fashion. So it makes sense that the two collaborated to create an Air Jordan 1 in a colorway that is designed partly by Travis Scott and named after him. Both parties benefit from this deal since they complement each other very well. We've already discussed why celebrity endorsements can be an effective marketing strategy, but now it's time to discuss how the celebrities can advertise our products. One of the largest platforms for them to share their ideas on are social media platforms such as Instagram and Snapchat. Rihanna, who is a commendable singer and businesswoman, has her own clothing line, Fenty, which she has promoted by sponsoring other celebrities who display her products on their own social media pages. One of the celebrities who endorse her clothing line is Megan Thee Stallion. She's currently a popular rapper and singer and has made multiple posts on her Instagram page promoting the Fenty line to her 13.1 million followers. Another example of a celebrity promoting a clothing brand is Selena Gomez. She's currently the ambassador for Puma and has made posts showing that on her Instagram page, which has one of the highest follower counts to date at 185 million followers. These celebrities have massive audiences that can be a major market for Gap Inc. Another important aspect to look out for is the role that brand rivalries hold in advertising. It isn't uncommon for brands to advertise their products to be superior to others. And this can be seen by the way that celebrities represent their sponsors. For example, in a song that Drake has been featured in, he rapped the line "checks over stripes," representing his preference of Nike, checks, over their rival brand Adidas, stripes. This can be extremely influential over the youth that Gap Inc. would do well to market towards. Gap Inc. should actively seek to represent itself as superior to its rivals. The Gap brand has done well with their 10-year partnership with Kanye West. It's a step in the right direction, and it's a strong counter to some of their rival celebrity partnerships. Coming up, we will discuss how Gap Inc. can incorporate celebrity and influencer sponsorships and collaborations as part of their 5-year action plan to get the company back on top. And I will now leave it to our research analyst, Salima, to continue more on that topic.
Thank you so much, Faisal, for that. So, We would like to propose a few solutions to the issues Gap Inc. is facing in the form of a 5-year plan. Well, as we see in the image, number 1 is adapting to market trends. Sustainability. Nowadays, more and more consumers are concerned about the future of the planet, into which companies are working to modify their modes and develop products made with more sustainable materials. Next, we have size-inclusive fashion. Size-inclusive fashion starts from anywhere to size 0 and goes up to 5XL and even more. Now that we see a shift towards that, in the past, plus-size clothing options has been very sparse. As a plus-size consumer myself, I see the changes being made, but not as strongly as I want and it should be. Then we have athleisure. Athleisure are a mix of comfortable clothing designed to be suitable for exercise and everyday wear. Now, if we consider the times we are in right now and the issue that we're facing, COVID-19, more and more consumers are switching to athleisure. Then we have creating more partnerships with celebrities and other influencers. Since marketing and social media are harmonized, we witness a lot of new approaches coming out. Influencers are motivating in a more super effective area to get results easily. Now, something my teammate Faisal mentioned earlier is that we should find influencers that are more suitable for our brand. For example, Gap. Gap is a clothing retail, so we should aim to find celebs and influencers who talk and post regularly about clothing, rather than finding someone who talks about, well, food. Then, advertising more on social media. So advertising and using ads aren't just for experts and consultants anymore. We see that the new businesses and influencers use more and more advertising. Now, social media ad itself is forecast to increase 20% more to which is 43 billion USD in just only 2020. And then social media ads are going to go up to 20%. 52% of all online brands or online people discovery still happens in public social feeds. Now, these include paid as such as organic posts. Now, we go to next. Moving towards other clothing styles. Well, as we see on the graph on the slide, we see the different types and different years that are going upscaling. Now, if we come right here to 2021, the most one that's going up is other apparel. We have to find exactly what other apparel is. An example of that would be jeggings. Like I had mentioned athleisure before, nowadays people are coming up with something called jeggings, which includes denim as well as athleisure combined together. So you can wear that when you're going for an interview, you can go that when you're walking your dog, or even when you're going on for a date. So we have to find clothing styles that are going to not only appeal to audience, but also increase our sales as well. Then we have to try and find using new online marketing strategies. Well, we have different types going right now. If we see on the chart right here, on the graph right here, it says Klarna. Klarna is a financial service that provides online financial services for payment solutions. For example, if you go to a website called Dagny Dober, it's for travel, purses, and so on bags. Well, the bags honestly start from the nicest bag or the most simple bag starts from around $400. Well, rather than just taking out that money and putting it right there and then, they have Klarna. Klarna gives them an option to try before you buy, or also an option of payment plan, which you can pay in monthly segments or bits and pieces. This entices the consumers to actually want to purchase the product and try it, and most likely keep it as well. Then, if you know that Amazon has actually come up with something called 7-Day Prime Wardrobe. Amazon allows you to take 8 items into your cart. Now includes shoes, clothing, accessories, purses, so on and so forth, 8 of them, and it lets you try it in your home for 7 days. Now, in that 7 days, how much does it charge you? $0. It charges you nada, literally. So when you get everything, you get to try it out, you get to see what pieces you like, and most likely consumers are going to tend to buy those products because because they know they didn't pay anything at all, and also because of the fact that they know that this is a piece they love, I'm going to keep it. Well, next, I'm going to switch over to Ezekiel, our data analyst, and he's going to take it over.
Thank you, Salima. Okay, so lasting returns. The proposed action plan encompasses the financial gains for the company, its stakeholders, and its customers. For the company, as we said earlier, the shift towards online purchasing will accompany an increase in profit. As Global Tech's project said, profit is traditionally weighed down by wages, utilities, maintenance, and other similar things. Cash flow is optimized in the online marketplace by a few following scenarios. Instead of employing multiple cashiers in each store, one payment system manages all interactions. Or an army of janitors may be replaced by one web developer, and even high energy consuming AC will no longer be wasted with closed doors. Following remarketization, sales will quickly surpass previous quarterly earnings. Barriers such as coronavirus or desirability of competitor brands will be eliminated. For its stakeholders, more stirring than the promise of reducing employee management, though, is the stability our approach imagines. Once the quarters following implementation demonstrate a rock-solid record of growth, then numerous executive conferences will simply be marked by silence. Now, for its customers, the online experience enables customers to experience the most immersive advertising right at their home. They will enjoy a fashion show put on by Gap Inc. directly on their phone. In conclusion, it is imperative that Gap Inc. assimilates to adapt to market trends. The company would do well to adapt to their younger customer base through celebrity collaborations and sponsorships, social media marketing, and online marketing. This includes providing more accessible means for customers to purchase their goods from. The goal should be to reduce costs and increase overall revenue and profit, as well as focus on their consumer base and what marketing strategies are currently working for them. If the company chooses to follow through with the recommended 5-year action plan, it will surely prosper. Otherwise, if the recommended actions are not adapted by Gap Inc., it will continue its downward trajectory as shown in the picture provided. Thank you everyone for listening our proposed plan to improve Gap Inc.